The thing is, though, I'm realizing it's so much more than sales because I had just recently started dating. I was divorced, I think, like at that point, a year and a half. And so I had just started dating. And I realized through my dating experience that my sales strategies helped me with dating, but it wasn't in what most people think I mean by that, which is, oh, you have to be polished and know what to say. It wasn't about that. It was what sales brings you with like positive thinking and goal setting and knowing how to handle rejection. And then, anyway, I'm recording myself talking because that's what we do in the mastermind because you get like 15 minutes to talk. And then I was like, you know what? I really want to help people just do the thing. And I said it a few times and I listened to the recording and I was like, wait a minute, am I not writing a sales book then? I'm writing a book called Do the Thing. And then everything really just started from there.
So did you start with a podcast? And then like, how did you start creating a community? So I don't know what I heard first, but I saw you doing thumb wars,
Oh,
which was like the fun with a stranger. It wasn't like stranger danger stranger. It was just somebody who seemed safe. And it was about getting over a fear of talking to someone. And you were showing yourself doing it like, yes, you can do this. And so the challenge, I guess, was to do a thumb war. And I went, this is just so fun.
yeah, exactly. So I was so pretty much I was writing the book. I met with a book strategist and she had said that I really needed to share the story of when me doing the thing was hard, like the hero's journey, right? The struggle part of doing the thing. And at the time, I really didn't have that struggle story because I've always done the thing. If I wanted to sell, I would sell. If I wanted to start a business, I would start a business. If I wanted to travel, I would travel. And she then was like, the book's not going to be any good. And so in order to have it be a good book, you need to interview other people that have had a struggle story. So then people are feeling a part of this journey of realizing the hard to the success. And so that's when I pretty much was like, okay, I'm going to interview people. Then I might as well at least record them. So then maybe someday I could do it on a podcast. And so that was when the idea of the podcast started. But then it was funny. I interviewed a friend of mine on video and she had everything was like perfect. Her computer was like perfect and her screen like was like the high up and the lights. And I watched the video of our interview and I was like crippled with like insecurity. Oh, I don't look good and I didn't like it. And then I paused it for a while and I didn't want to I even messaged the guy. I talk about Adam a lot on my podcast. He's the founder of my podcast platform, Callcast. And I messaged him. I'm like, I don't think I can do this thing. And then he was the one that got me to not do video. So my first 80 episodes are just audio because if you don't like video, then just do audio. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. And which is great because now one of the things I do is I help people start podcasts. And because I had that kind of like problem, I'm able to help anyone else that might have that problem. Now I love being on video. I can be on video all day long and I'm fine, but I'm also more comfortable in my own skin than I think I was when this whole thing started.
There's times where you're like trying to figure it out that I heard on some of your episodes and then you're trying to get an acronym. Did you ever get an acronym?
Yes, I love that you
Oh,
like are so embedded with it. So good. Yeah,
yeah.
it was funny. So it was 80 episodes and I all of a sudden started hearing the same words. So what mindset was one of the first ones, obviously, that comes up when you're doing the thing, right? You have to be able to deal with your mindset. And that's when I started to bring experts in and specifically speaking about some of these pieces. And I was like uncovering even more. And mindset, we talked about the thumb war. One of the things people don't realize that is mindset is fun, right? It's bringing fun in. So I always make sure that I'm bringing some kind of fun element because that helps people like really get through hard things. And anyway, so that was like one of the words that came up. Identifying the why was another word, goals, accountability. And so all these words were coming up. And then I started to put them on index cards and I wrote them down and I put them on my kitchen table and they're just like sitting there for a while as I'm like looking at them. And one of my friends we were doing a conversation and she was like, what about, oh wait, I think I saw the word game come up, but then there were like 3 extra letters and I didn't know what to do with them. And then all of a sudden she was like, what about something like game on? And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't think about putting 2 words together. And anyway, I think I combined 2 because it ended up being really similar under categories. So anyway, I'm game is the acronym. And
Okay.
and so it's really fun because whenever I'm doing a challenge That's what people are, they're called dare doers.
Oh,
And then they're like, I'm game. And so it's so, I mean, it's ridiculous how amazing it is because you're really able to like feel into this new persona that you want to be, right? Like it doesn't, you don't need to be this like comfortable safety zone person. You can be a dare doer and say, I'm game.
so what do you do when you're in fear or you start second guessing yourself? Do you have people you go to? Do you just walk through it and you're like, fear
Yeah.
isn't real. I'm just going to keep going. What do you do?
Yeah. So I've had this saying since college, which I sold books door to door in college. That's how I put myself through school. And it's three words. Are you ready? My favorite three words. It's action cures fear.
Okay.
And so it's just action. And a lot of people think it has to be some like big, scary action, but it could be the littlest thing. That's why I mentioned asking for help. That's an action. You're asking someone for help, and that is an action. Because I feel like a lot of people think they have to know everything before they start. But it is actually so much fun when you let go of that perception and you're like, I could just figure things out. I only need to know the next step in front of me. I don't need to know the 20 other steps ahead of me. I could just figure out this one step and then that's going to build over time and it compounds, which is like the coolest thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I sold industrial tools to put myself through college.
Oh my gosh. We were like, literally, that is so
I
funny. All
know,
these
I know.
synchronicities.
I was gonna wait till we were done recording to tell you, and I couldn't. Yeah, I can never wait for anything.
That's so funny.
I know. Yeah, it's so funny. So what's the hardest challenge you've ever gone through, and how did you get through it?
Man, okay, let's think. What is the hardest challenge I've gone through? I think it was the exit of my business. Yeah, I would say for sure it was that because I got divorced. We had opened the business together. We owned it for 20 years and then I was the CEO, he was the CFO, and we tried to, since we had two separate totally different roles, we tried to keep it going for a few years and then didn't work. It didn't
Yeah.
work. So I ended up selling my half of the business to him. And when that was over, I had 60 employees and like internal and 600 external. And so it was a lot. So I just felt really alone, like really disconnected. Like all these people that I felt were my family and were part of like my everyday talking and this and that and fire and helping and phone and this and all that stuff. It was hard. And then on top of that, we had like kid conflict and all the stuff that goes along with divorce. So I think, but the exit of the business brought all of that to the surface, from the kids to the business to alone and who am I and what am I even doing and what have I been doing and like identity and all the stuff. So yeah, it was like, that was definitely, so how I overcame it was one of the ways I went to a fitness camp. This sounds so random, but I
Yeah, that's
literally
nuts.
like,
I'm like, I'm
I was
waiting for
like,
therapy, but I
yeah,
guess that was your
no,
therapy.
I was going to go to, I was calling, actually was thinking I was on the phone with a psychiatric hospital. That's where I was going to go. And then I just had this like all of a sudden moment where I was like, wait a minute, I did this fitness camp in the past. I just needed a safe place and I needed to be
Mhm.
led by someone other than me and be around people that were like encouraging and supportive, the my people part of the formula.
Yeah.
And yeah, so instead of a psychiatric hospital, I went to a fitness camp.